The late adopter. Hi guys, how you doing? Welcome to Bitcoin Daily, 9 a.m. Central European time on the dollar. We do this show Monday to Friday because we gotta know what's up with Bitcoin, altcoins, and everything else. It's neither Monday to Friday nor it's 9 a.m. But you know, we gotta know. Still gotta know what's happening. And great haircut, bro. I need to kind of wash the hair a little bit. We still gotta know what's happening with the charts. Now, as you see in the title, everything looks bearish, and I am extremely bearish, guys. So if you don't want to see, you know, bearish news, maybe this is not the video to watch. That said, you're not on the dollar. Yeah, not on the dollar. That said, this can actually be a good thing. Oftentimes, because, you know, when I'm very emotional, I make mistakes. When I'm very emotional, I, you know, buy tops, sell bottoms. So, you know, it could be a good news for you guys. You know, me being bearish could be a very, very good news for you guys. That said, I don't know. And there is this thing about hopium, you know, when I have a hopium that some stuff is gonna go up, but just kind of doesn't go up, it's often a good sign that, you know, living on the hopium is probably, you know, you're probably going into the direction that you are fearing you're gonna go into. So we're gonna look at it. Right now, Bitcoin is climbing back up again, big pumps towards the upside up here. There we go, bullish engulfing candle. So 35 minutes left up here, you know, bouncing up big time up here as soon as we started the stream. Here we go, 30 minutes candles up here, big move towards downside, trying to get back above the resistance up here. Right now getting it rejected a little bit there, still 5 minutes left to go, so we're gonna see how this actually closes. 34 minutes left on the 1 hourly, 1 hour and 4 minutes left on the 4 hourly. You know, whether this is a good or a bad thing, we're gonna check that out. Whether this is a bullish or nothing, you know, we still need to see some kind of closures, some kind of closes, and how this is actually gonna play out. 60k, here we come. I would love that, man. I would love that. So, you know, I'm kind of bearish. I'm gonna show you, you know, what I'm looking at the charts, you know, what is making me actually bearish, why is it making me bearish, you know, and what can actually happen. So a little bit unsure where we're gonna start, but you know, maybe we're gonna start some kind of, you know, small time frames up here, see what's happening. Let's just clean up everything from the chart. By the way, let's see who's in the chat first, and then we're gonna do the charts. So I'm gonna explain to you, you know, short term, you know, some kind of lines, some kind of bearish momentum, some kind of stuff that's, you know, not supposed to happen and stuff like that. Who's in the chat, by the way? I do, man. XRP to me. Yeah, XRP is actually doing quite good. I was actually just checking it because people are talking about it, but you know, XRP is doing quite well. If you go to the daily time frame up here, it's hitting the resistance. So it did quite well, but unfortunately, it's hitting the resistance up here right now. Unfortunately, you can see up here, resistance, right? So it's hitting the resistance with overextensions. I don't think it's gonna break, you know, 0.39 or anything like that. It needs consolidation. I mean, it definitely can break towards the upside. You never know what's bullish, what's bearish, but you know, in some kind of normal option or something like that, without any kind of news or anything like that, you know, the trend lines are respected. Consolidations need to happen. Stuff like that. I don't agree on the title. I'm guessing a lot of people don't agree on the title, but you know, that's okay. Eyes on the Lassar. What's up? Good afternoon, legends. Jurgen, XRP baby. XRP doing well so far. John, hello John, how you doing, man? Vinal, hello Tiela, hello Vinat, how you doing, man? Higher lows on the 4 hourly. I think it's bullish. Let's see if you know, 4 hourly on a Bitcoin up here just for a second. Higher lows, yeah, technically there are higher lows up here. Technically speaking, so you know, but you know, it's too early. It just you know, second move up here, and if it does this move down here, you know, it's kind of you know, up here. And you can also say that, you know, up here right now we're having, you know, some kind of, but it's too early, way too early to talk about, you know, 4 hourly higher lows. I don't want to see a bear flag on the weekly though. Bear flag on the weekly time frame. It's it could be that, because this is actually technically this is actually trending towards upside. If you look at it from the bottom to, you know, up here, you can see this is actually trending to upside. Now on the top side we don't have anything like, you know, like that up there, but you know, we could create some kind of channel by with the top up here. So technically we are trending towards upside over here. We can extrapolate that, you know, some up here. You can see up here we are you know, slightly trending towards upside. Maybe we could make some kind of hopium if we drew the lines something like this down here, you know, use the bottom over here, then these lines, because you know, we get you know, more hits on that, and then you know, create some kind of channel out of this over here, you know, give or take up here. Maybe, you know, this looks more normal, you know, it's a slightly downward channel, but you know, it looks more normal. It's not that bearish as, you know, this move up here, but you know, there's that. Hello, fellow degens. Bubbly Fat, how you got? What are you doing, man? We gotta know. XRP doesn't. Yeah, XRP doesn't. Dutch Ring Racing is in the chat. Hello there. Hi there. How you doing, man? Mladen is in the chat as well. Mladen, nice to see you again. You're not on the dollar, man. It's Sunday. We don't need to be on the dollar. Good evening, my friend. 8:23 p.m. in Melbourne. We got Australia with us today. Long Mountain hair looks bullish though. Yeah. Makes you tall by 5 cents. Yeah, I need to go like this all the time. Good morning from Cyprus. Alex in the chat. Mia, XRP army. A lot of XRP people, you know, super bullish. Hey Sasha, I was in church and was panicking because of my short. I'm happy it went down. Haven't taken my have taken my quick profit. Hope you did. I don't know. TLI is the best. There we go. The green is goblin also in the chat. So there are 60 people in chat. You're still the blue balls, but you know, depends you know, whether this is done or not. So this trend towards downside is not yet broken. Let's go to this you know, short time frames and then extrapolate towards the bigger time frames up here. So now, you know what, let's talk about this move up here. You guys remember that, you know, before we actually talked about that stuff that should not happen, you know, happens, and when that happens, it's pretty much, you know, very, very bad move. So up here we started doing those, you know, emergency videos. This looks very, very bad and stuff like that, because, you know, the move down here was not supposed to happen. It did happen. We went down, we went a little bit up, and then continue going down. And you know, we've been doing, you know, emergency videos over here because there was something just over here that was not supposed to happen. There was some kind of a trend line over here, maybe a little bit down there, something like this, I think. And we were not supposed to break the trend line, right? We are not supposed to break the trend line. I don't know where the trend line is. Maybe something like this. Yeah, something like this over here. We are not supposed to break the trend line towards downside. This was important trend over here. So, you know, when we did bounce up here towards upside, you know, and went down, we started doing this emergency video because that was something we are not supposed to do. When we were going down here, you know, there was no fear because, you know, overextensions towards downside, big moves up here needs to consolidate. But once the consolidation period is done and you start doing the bearish moves up here at the end, now that's, you know, that becomes a problem, right? So what's happening over here is that we said we cannot go below a certain level again, right? We said that there is a level that I do not want to break, and that's roughly around down here. And you can see that we did break on downside, but we came right back above that, right? And we are still above that, and everything looks nice. But this move towards downside kind of wrecked all the hopium. And this was not just normal move towards the downside. It wasn't like, you know, slowly go down here, you know, try to go up, you know, does some, you know, strange thing and, you know, move towards downside. This just dumped like a brick below everything, literally below everything. You can see up here, try to break the 50 and then right back down below 10-20 moving average, failed to get back up, got rejected, right now hitting that resistance again. So it does look, you know, it's already like, man, you know, we should have not gone towards downside. And up here, you know, that this was like, you know, a week ago, give or take, we are super bullish. And even this move towards downside, everything was super bullish. We are, you know, saying that, you know, we might have this move towards downside, you know, some kind of fake out, and then we're gonna bounce towards upside. And, you know, I had no problem with this move towards downside. Even this move on the downside down here, it was okay. You know, because there are normal stuff that happens on the chart that you look at and you kind of know that you kind of expecting those things to happen. You kind of expect that this, you know, whatever this is, falling wedge or something like that, you know, that's, you know, it might break on downside, but you're already kind of extended down here and you are pushing the extension down here, and then you try to break very important level of support, and then, you know, you bounce back up, and you can see how bigly we actually bounced up. So, you know, down here we are quite bullish. We're expecting a move towards upside, big move, 10 move towards upside. I came up here super bullish, continue, you know, the bullishness up here continue towards upside, and then we got wrecked by the news, right? So right now comes the question, because over here previously we did not get wrecked by the news. Over here in this move where we actually started talking about the emergency that we are going to go into capitulation, you know, we were I don't remember if there were any news up here. Up here there was news. It was a CPI data or something like that, or FOMC meeting or something like that actually, you know, make us bullish and then, you know, straight down towards downside. But over here it wasn't a big news, and nobody was talking about this, because I remember that because we were one of the only channels, if not the only channel, that were talking about, you know, this is emergency, right? It's only a couple of days later that everybody was starting talking about, yeah, we broke the trend line, this is bad and stuff like that, right? It's only later that people came and started talking about it, but we were a little bit ahead of the curve there. And on this move towards downside, over here, there was nothing, you know, it was going down, but you're kind of expecting it to go down, right? You move up, you need to go down, right? You move up, you need to go down, you continue up here very nicely towards upside, everything's gonna look fine, right? So up here, you know, breaking this 50 moving average, you could get rejected by that a little bit, maybe below the moving average, maybe even fall down on the support at time 20 moving average up here. That will still be very bullish. But we didn't do that. Like, the news really wrecked us towards downside below 10 and 20 moving average here on the daily time frame, and right now we are failing to get back above those levels. So people are seeing we are sitting on some kind of supports, and even though we are sitting on this support over here, and there are definitely other kinds of supports up here, you know, depends on how you draw them. Maybe something like this up here, you know, give or take. You can see there are supports. We are still sitting above the supports, but we are kind of having a hard time bouncing off of those supports. And when you think about it, like, when price gets to certain support level, there needs to come in a lot of buyers that are going to push the price above, out of that support level, you know, towards the resistance, break those resistance. You know, you need a lot of bulls to come in and buy the price. So when you see some kind of, you know, price hitting the support and failing to bounce from that support, that's oftentimes a bad sign. Let me explain to you something that you might actually relate to. You know that when you have some kind of trend line up here, right, and then you have a big, you know, slow move up here, and you know, coming back to the that trend line. The trend line is confirmed right now, but you have this move right now that's not just, you know, getting immediate rejection from the line, but it's kind of, you know, going up here. You know, it's kind of start hugging the line, right? It's kind of start hugging the line. You already see the bullishness in that, right? You already see bullish, because price is not just you know, getting rejected immediately from that, right? So when price hits a resistance line and, you know, fails to get rejected by that, it kind of hugs it. You know, it does look bullish. It can eventually get rejected by that, then move to some kind of other support and then bounce and break that support level at the other time. But oftentimes hugging something, doesn't matter whether that's a resistance line that's bullish or some kind of support line, hugging support line that's bearish. Hugging something is always you know, sign of either bullishness or weakness. So if you have a resistance line, you're hugging the resistance line, that could be a bullish sign. If you have a support line and you're hugging that support line, that could be a bearish sign. I say it could be because it's not always the case. Oftentimes you will see some, you know, oftentimes you will see price going towards upside, then you know, getting rejected by something, then moving it back below, for example, below the moving average, and then it will be maybe hugging the moving average and then getting rejected from that moving average. But it needs you know, it needs to try that, right? It could be hugging the moving average from the bottom side, right, instead of from the, you know, hugging it on the top side. So hugging it could be both bullish and bearish, but oftentimes it is you know, it is the sign that's going to go into the direction of whatever it's hugging. So if it's hugging towards upside, it just might break toward, you know, probability is towards upside. Hugging on the downside, probability is towards the downside. It doesn't have to do that. Of course, we know that, you know, falling wedges can break towards downside, both sides, and so forth. But oftentimes hugging something is not a good thing. So over here you see we immediately got rejected, because as soon as you hit some very important levels, you get a lot of bulls, you know, buying the price and pushing the price towards upside, which is actually very bullish. So these quick moves towards the support line, they could indicate bullishness and so forth. So you can see here we fell down, we hugged that, we you know, we already hugged it over here, we broke towards downside, and then, you know, immediately bounced back. But this breakout towards downside was kind of expected. This downside or breakout over here is kind of not expected. We were not supposed to go from all the way up here, all the way back to the support line, and then break the support line. So I'm seeing right now, if we start breaking the support line, that could indicate actually a bigger move towards downside. You know, on the chart, you know, even down to, you know, 12K, you know, just a little move towards downside. Yeah, but it could be you know, 30-40% move towards downside, and you're gonna hit 10K. Are we gonna do 30-40 move towards downside? I don't know. It's just gonna be a fake out towards downside up here. I don't know. But it, you know, the title of the video, everything looks bearish, but like I said also, when I'm bearish, maybe that's the thing, you know, when I'm emotional and when I'm bearish, maybe it's, you know, the stuff is, you know, people are in fear and, you know, it goes up, and when I'm bullish and, you know, euphoric like I was last time, stuff, you know, dumps big time towards the downside. It's a long time since I was euphoric, but you know, it was looking good. So if the news didn't come up here, you know, we could have maybe dropped down below here and, you know, slowly, you know, went down, but you know, it was just a too fast move back below the supports, and right now we're sitting down here. So if you zoom in a little bit on the charts over here, we have been breaking, so this downtrend over here, we have been breaking the downtrend. You can draw very nice lines up here, something like this up here, maybe even something like this up here. You can see here that we did break that. I think, you know, depends on how you draw it. Maybe something like this, you know, it looks broken. Maybe it's some line over here. You know, this big move down here with the exhaustion pattern, and somebody is drawing this as a you know, expanding, you know, musical instrument, and somebody is, you know, just drawing it as a channel. There might be also a way that where this actually is working as a falling wedge, and right now it's gonna bounce towards the upside. But I need to see some, you know, I need to see some action. I need to see something that tells me that we are actually bullish. I need to see something that's right now that breaks certain, you know, resistance line with force, with bullishness, with volume, to tell me that we are bullish. Because right now we are climbing towards the upside, but, you know, it's so slow and the volume is like non-existent down here. You can see here still in this you know, corrective move on the downside, the volume is still going down. Even after this breakout towards the upside, the volume is still going down. There is no volume coming. Oftentimes when you break certain levels, you know, volume should kind of kick in a little bit, at least, you know, showing the bullishness, but there is literally no bullishness, even the small time frames. Yes, we are breaking certain levels. Yes, we are going a little bit towards the upside. Yes, we are holding the support. Yes, everything looks technically nice, but it kind of doesn't. Let me right now go into the bigger time frames, and I'm going to show you something that you know, on the bigger time frames up here. So this is the weekly time frame. We still don't get got bearish engulfing candle on the charts over here. We do right now. We got a slightly bearish engulfing candle up here on the charts by rejecting the 10 moving average, with the wick going up to the 200 moving average. This would be, I would say, the second rejection up here. You know, up here, this was over here, first rejection of the 200 moving average. Right now, trying to get back, you know, up here again, you know, getting a rejected again. So I would say this is a second rejection, and this double bottom pattern that needs to, you know, get above 24.3K is nowhere close to actually doing that, because you can see right now, if it begins above 24.3K, you get back above the 10 moving average, above the 200 moving average, above 20, above the, you know, top resistance here. The double bottom up here is confirmed. All the good stuff happens above 24.3. Will we get above 24? Am I waiting all the way up there to become very, very bullish? Not actually, but I'm waiting for something to happen down here to tell me that, you know, okay, this is some kind of breakout. There's something happening up here. Some kind of bullishness is kicking in, but right now there is no bullishness that's kicking in. Now we can go to the CME futures chart over here. These are CME futures chart. Let's go to the weekly time frame up here. I was actually looking at it over here. There was some kind of, you know, rising wedge up here. We broke down to the support down here. We bounced. We got rejected over here. This is everything on the daily time frame up here. You can see here we got a reject up here on the future chart as well. Back below the 10 moving average. Continue below 10 moving average. Still going below 10 moving average. There are no divergences, I think, on the daily time frame and anything like that. Everything looks fine and dandy. If you do drop below these levels, there might be, I say it might because you never know with the, you know, RSI divergences. They are a lagging indicator. So if this just continues dumping on the downside, in the start there might be divergence, but if it just continues dumping on the downside, there might be huge, you know, there might be no divergence for us. So, you know, just looking at, just looking at the RSI, it's not actually telling us that much. But this rising wedge definitely broke on the downside. We went down to the target where the target should be, down at the bottom. Like, everything played out as it should have played. And now after we broke this trend up here towards the upside, you know, we went up here, you know, we went up a little bit up here and then got rejected, right? and then got rejected by that, and right now we're coming back to these levels again. So we cannot break these levels again, because that's going to be very, very bad. On the weekly time frame, we already kind of broke important levels, and like we said over here, we failed to get back above 10 moving average up here. We are getting bearish engulfing candle on the charts over here, bearish engulfing candle on the charts. Weekly time frame, we also crossed below the support on the downside, 19.5 down here. So we see 19.540 or something like that. 19.7 was the support. There is technically slight divergence up here. There is technically slight divergence up here over here on the chart, as you can see here. But if we just continue going down here towards downside, this can actually very, very easily, turn it to no divergence as well. Divergences are a lagging indicator. It's only by the time they are confirmed and done that you can actually see them. So I'm not looking for divergence and stuff like that to tell me where the price is gonna go, but I'm looking for divergences to tell me when the price is done doing the shaky thing, and following the prices again. So bearish engulfing candle below the support line on the weekly time frame on CME futures over here, and that's also very, very bearish. Big, it's not just slight, rejection, it's a big rejection down here. Let's go back to this chart over here. So I'm going to show you the daily time frame. On the daily time frame up here, we failed to go back above a certain level. So I was hoping that maybe, just maybe, we can actually bounce up here above the 20 moving average or something like that up here. That will give me already a lot of bullishness, for continuing move towards the upside. But we are kind of not doing that yet. Not only that, the only thing that we actually broke was this level down here towards the upside. But it's a very, very weak level. Like this level up here, right above us, we did not break that. This support down here, right above us, 20.1, we did not break that. The 20 moving average we did not break. So there is a lot of things that this move towards upside was nice, but it is just up to the up to the moving averages, up to the resistances, and then it kind of stopped there. So we still need to do decent move towards the upside, and you can see the the 24 that we need to get above, 24.3 that we need to get above to complete the double bottom on the weekly time frame, to complete get above the 10, 20 and the 200 moving average on the weekly to be super bullish. It's way above us right now, but I don't need that much. I'm not gonna wait 24.3 to be bullish, but something down here needs to happen soon to make me bullish. But right now there are very little things that are making me bullish. Now we got this 1 hourly close. It's in 40 minutes. You can see up here we went to the resistance. Let's see 30 minutes up here. You can see even the 30 minutes up here, it became super bullish. We went down to some kind of support. We bounced up here towards the moving average, close below everything. We are still above the 200 moving average, but 2 tries. You see these 2 weeks on the upside, 2 tries to get above the moving averages right now, getting rejected back down again. On the 1 hourly, again, 10-20 moving average acting as a resistance. This triangle up here at the end is, we broke down, we tried to get up, it looks like we are failing. Still 14 minutes left, and the bulls are kind of losing the momentum towards downside. There is a lot of volume coming in trying to push it up, but this over here was only bearish volume, which was quite big. Over here it was both bullish, and right now the bearish volume is continuing kicking in, so I'm expecting this volume candle actually to be a lot bigger. But in the 4 hourly time frame, 10 moving average up here, 20 moving average, sitting back on those levels still doesn't look that promising. Ja. Ja, gå ner till mamma och sitt mamma. Pappa jobbar. Mamma sover ikke. Er hun våken?
Jeg sover ikke. Jeg myser mat.
Ok, gå og si til mamma.
Okay.
So yeah, everything, like however you turn it around, it was one of those things that were not supposed to happen. This was one of those things that was not supposed to happen. This move towards downside, I could definitely, have no problem with a move above 10-20 moving average up here, getting some support, seeing some bulls coming in here buying. but there was no buying. It just went straight through the 10-20 moving average, right now consolidating up here, and you know, this is a bad bad move. Over here when we went down here, you know, on the bottom, like there is no problem whatsoever, because you are having, you know, these big extensions towards downside, and in the very start there is you know, usually never a big problem up here. In the very start there's usually never any big problem, because you get you have a huge extension towards downside, you dump a lot, and then you have to have this consolidation phase where, you know, the price stabilizes itself. The problem is when you after this stabilization phase, at the end of that phase, you start hitting the support line again, right? So at the end of this phase, you are back hitting these support lines again, and that's making me bearish. That's making me bearish. You know, I don't like that we broke back below 10-20 moving average. I don't like that we are coming back down to these levels. So what I'm looking at right now is this line up here, and to tell you the truth, guys, I'm a little bit unsure what's gonna happen. I'm a little bit unsure what's gonna happen. You know, it's still the same line down here, give or take, and you can see we are still above the line. You know, we did kind of break on downside, but you know, we're still above the line, and you know, technically we should, you know, have some kind of hope this is gonna, you know, bounce towards upside, but I'm still not seeing anything that actually confirms that. So I am bearish. And it's really hard to, you know, to justify that, you know, for some reason we are super bullish just because we are on the support. Oftentimes you will see price sitting on any kind of support, and it will be a bullish move for some reason. Maybe you had a big extension down here and right now just hit the support, and that's actually quite bullish, right? On the other side, after hitting the support and then you go for, you know, 2 months, and then it's no longer bullish. It's no longer bullish. You know, you're failing to bounce. You're failing to bounce, right? You're failing to bounce. Let me look at DXY up here. Now DXY is also a problem up here. Now we still have this, you know, this stop up here that, you know, tried to, you know, it failed to break the top up here. You can see up here getting rejected, trying to go up, trying to go down up here a little bit, but it's still in on the bigger time frames. On the bigger time frames, the DXY, the dollar index, is still in a, you know, rising uptrend. So there is no reason that we should think, even though we are having a huge divergence on the chart, there is no reason to think that this is gonna, for whatever reason, just suddenly break on the downside and, you know, whatnot. It looks like it just might actually break, you know, this triangle, start of the triangle towards the upside, and then go to the resistance 111 or something like that, right? It could do that, and then it's gonna be very bad time if this actually breaks this trend line up here towards the upside, because if it does break towards the upside, that's gonna mean, you know, stock market and everything else is gonna dump towards the downside. You mean, you know, inflation is gonna be just get a lot worse. So today is Sunday. In 4 days there is FOMC meeting, and I'm thinking right now, because the price is not making the big moves, the price is not making big moves, it's just kind of consolidating, just kind of waiting, but it's waiting down at support. So, you know, will it bounce? You know, I am hoping it's gonna bounce. I'm hoping it's gonna give me something. But every time I look at the charts, it just kind of, you know, like right now, you know, every time you see some kind of bullish move, you see these rejections. You know, you see a bullish move towards upside, but just hit something and it fails to get above that, right? This is a 30-minute chart, went down, nice drop down, bounced right back up again, and right now, you know, getting rejected again. So every time I look at a chart, you know, there is some kind of resistance, some kind of move that's, you know, getting wrecked, right? Up here towards the upside, you know, we had nice climb up here. There might have been some kind of rising wedge up here. So this kind of, you know, expected move down here towards you know, 19.8 again. If you start breaking this on the downside, it's going to be again, you can see here, even 19.8 up here. It's important level to, you know, level to notice. And even this 19.8 move up here right now, that we have broken this uptrend over here, consolidated in a triangle, and right now broken towards the upside, getting rejected up here. It looks like it's going to break 19.8 and maybe even go lower up here. Will it go lower today? Will it go lower tomorrow, or on the FOMC meeting on the Thursday? I'm a little bit unsure. Maybe FOMC meeting will actually be quite bullish, and we're gonna just, you know, bounce off the support line like crazy. Maybe that's why we are actually that you know, that bearish. Maybe we, you know, bulls and the bear, you know, bulls don't want to push the price too much towards the upside, so they're waiting, and bears are actually don't want to, you know, dump the price, you know, they're kind of waiting there as well. So, you know, I think maybe everybody is waiting here at support, either on the FOMC meeting or something else. I don't know. But it's kind of look like just kind of slowly up here consolidating, still in a move up here. So when this actually move towards downside or towards the upside, I don't know, is gonna happen. A little bit unsure. But then everything I look at, like from on the bigger time frame, from the daily up here, failing to get back above the resistance, 2-day chart also failing to get back over the resistance. This is actually quite nice, because on the daily time frame we failed to get back above 10 moving average and also failed to get back above the resistance at 20.1. On the weekly time frame, bearish engulfing candle being made, failed to get back above the 10 moving average up here. There is some kind of support at 19.5 here on the weekly time frame, so we're gonna see if we're gonna break that. There is also support down here on the weekly at 19.3. So you know, I would say below 19.3, you know, maybe, just maybe, you know, hopium is that this is gonna do some kind of, you know, V-shaped recovery pattern, but I don't know. And as you can see, guys, I'm definitely more bearish than bullish. I'm definitely more bearish than bullish. Even this S&P 500 chart up here, that's actually broken towards downside. I was hoping that this actually is gonna, you know, bounce back above it. It can still bounce back up here, but if you see this starting bleed again towards downside, this pretty much broke the trend over here with a fake out towards upside up here. Big fake out, big fast fake out towards upside. Right now breaking the trend towards downside. There was a little bit more movement towards upside up here, but if this continues going on downside, it's pretty much kind of confirmed that this trend over here is kind of broken, and right now, you know, we are continuing towards downside. So it, you know, next week I think it needs to happen. Next week, first time I see a word in a while. Next week is a FOMC meeting on Thursday. We had these meetings before that have moved the price of Bitcoin quite largely, so I'm expecting definitely some kind of movement either before that or after that. But yeah, I was ecstatic and euphoric when we were going towards upside. Everything looked nice, and it was quite a shock to me that we actually dropped down 10%. And I'm still saying it's a normal move towards downside. Technically, it is a kind of normal move towards downside. But again, me being bearish might actually be good for price, because every time I'm bearish, you know, the price, you know, goes into upside direction. Every time I'm bullish, price goes down, right? What hair product are you using? We are back on the hair products. So this over here, you know, not the more. So what do we have any kind of bullish, you know, bullish scenarios? Well, bullish scenarios are kind of hopium, you know. I don't know if you watched that blockchain backer video that I showed yesterday. I think if you haven't watched the blockchain backer video, I think you should be using it. So watching it. It's a very good video. Just go watch yesterday's live stream from Saturday. There is a link to the video in the description below, and definitely worth a watch. So there is a lot of stuff that says that we are at the bottom. Like, I'm still believing that this is the bottom, and everything is, of course, playing out as it should be playing out. We should, you know, had capitulation phase, went down 30% in the last move, consolidating down here, getting everybody super bearish. You know, the bottoms are super bearish by nature. Everybody's calling for 10K, so forth, right? So, you know, whether this is the bottom or not, you know, it could be argued, but I think right now that everything points into direction that this is the bottom. So why, if this is the bottom, why am I so worried? Again, this is not 2018, this is 2022, and in 2022 there is more world problems that have been, you know, in the last 100 years altogether. We are having one of the, you know, worst inflations in a long time. I think we are having the electricity crisis, we are having the war at our doorsteps. You know, there is so much bearishness and so much, you know, bad environment right now that maybe, just maybe, that bad environment is going to push the price towards upside. But what if it goes down, right? What if it fails all of our technical analysis? What if it fails because we have based our tech analysis and our bottoms on previous Bitcoin history? And previously, you know, the world was a little bit different. Previously, we did hold supports. Previously, we did do certain stuff. But right now, if you look at a chart, Elliott waves, of course. If you look at a chart, this is the first time we had a double top. Right, it's time to change. This parabolic top, parabolic top, parabolic top, parabolic top, parabolic top up here as well. Kind of, you know, this was only kind of top where it wasn't parabolic top. So the you know, the times are kind of changing. We are below 200 moving average where we held 200 moving. We were a little bit below the moving average, but this you know, the worst you know, move below 200 moving average ever, right? So the times are a little bit different, right? They're not the same. You know, it's not playing the same as it's played before. Before it was very, you know, what are you gonna say? Before it was very predictable. You know, one move, two moves up here. After this third move, you could even predict this move towards the upside. Everybody has been doing more or less correctly. But right now, you know, when everybody can see this and everybody's saying this is the bottom, this the bottom, so this has to be the bottom. Maybe it's not gonna be the bottom, right? So the thing that's kind of scaring me right now, what if we have changed the matrix? What if we changed, what if something has changed and right now, you know, we are going into a new trend that we have still not, you know, discovered? What if right now we are going to a new move on the charts that we have not discovered? This should, the way I analyze it, by any means be the bottom. But what if it's not the bottom? So that's what I'm saying. Although I am bearish, and I don't see much bullishness right in the chart, that can change pretty quickly. And you know, I don't need, again, I don't need the, you know, 24.3 up here to become bullish. Something down here is gonna change either to the better or to the worse. And I'm gonna become extremely bullish or extremely bearish, because there is, you know, with me there is nothing in between. I'm either extremely this or extremely that. So you know, there is that. But you know, I don't know. This is the line, guys. This is the line down here, give or take. And I gotta tell you, I'm also contemplating, you know, just selling everything and just, you know, getting out, because I hate the feeling. Because let's assume this goes down. Let's assume even it goes down to 10K. Then you have this pain period over here. I don't know how long the pain period is gonna last, you know. Then you have the pain period where you hope this is gonna come back above your, you know, buying level, right? And you know, I've been in the pain period before. I've been a hodler through pain periods. They are not fun. You are living on the hopium for a very long time. And if you go down to 10K, there will again be, you know, 3 to 9 months consolidation accumulation phase. And what if that fails as well? I'm not saying that's gonna happen. There will eventually, you know, there is only that many, you know, drops you can have. You can go even down to 3K, but eventually there will be a bull market. Eventually there will be a bull market. Eventually, hopefully. But when it's gonna come, that's the big question. Labs never in the middle. This is the conversation people had back in 2018. People had this conversation in 2008. They were bearish. They were looking at lower levels, but there was nothing that was actually that bad with the, you know, world economy in 2018. Let's go and look at, you know, world economy in 2018, maybe on this chart over here. Let's go to the weekly time frames up here. Let's go to clear up everything up here. Where is the 2018? 2018 up here. Actually up here in January, this actually dropped towards downside, but it wasn't actually that bad. You know, the stock market did went down after a big parabolic move up here towards downside. I don't actually remember, because I wasn't actually following that much DXY. But it, you know, it looks like it just consolidated above certain levels. It wasn't, you know, breaking any kind of levels. I'm a little bit unsure what kind of, you know, FUD was up here. Maybe it was just extended that drop towards downside. But I won't, you know, categorize this as some kind of bad move. It did break certain levels on the downside, but it was holding the 50 moving average eventually. In July 2018, exploded again towards the upside. Then we had a, you know, December. No, this is December 2018. No, that's the bottom. December 2017. This is the top up here on Bitcoin, and this down here is the bottom on Bitcoin, right? So bottom on Bitcoin actually had a big move towards downside. Up here, how much did it go from the top to the bottom? For this is the top, and then it had two tops up here. It went down 20%, and right now, if you cut, you know, look from the top down here to the bottom down here, exactly the same. exactly the same, 19.61 and 19.53. So maybe that's the bottom, right? Maybe that's the bottom. And we are hitting also the 200 moving average down here on the downside, right? But it is getting, you know, rejected up here, rejected up here. So, you know, down here is a very strong level of support. 200 moving average, the support up here. You break this on the downside, you kind of expect a bigger move down here. Maybe that's the capitulation phase for stocks. Blockchain backer could be right, extremely long bear market. Yeah, a little bit unsure about, you know, how right he could be, because the halving is gonna come, either you like it or not, right? You found the button. The halving is gonna come, either you like it or not, right? And the halving always, you know, if the real price of Bitcoin is 20K, after halving, the real price of Bitcoin should be 40K. If the priced in real price of Bitcoin is, you know, 3K or 6K, the after halving it should be, you know, 6K or 12K, right? So, and also the energy prices in the world are going towards the upside. Now you would assume that, you know, Bitcoin being mined. This is the video, by the way, guys. What if it broke? This is the video. You would also assume that if energy prices around the world, you would also assume that if energy prices goes towards upside, you tell 10 different price prediction, because I don't actually know the price prediction. I don't actually know or expect anything to happen right now, because I would like the the prices on the support level. So I'm not predicting any kind of level if we break that towards downside. I'm kind of hoping that we will break certain levels towards upside, so I can become bullish and then make prediction on the level that I think we're gonna get to. If we break it on the downside, I'm not making a prediction how far down we can go, but if we do that, I'm gonna start making prediction on how far down we can actually go. So I'm not actually making a prediction on the price because I'm kind of expecting this to bounce, but it's just not bouncing. That's the big problem, right? I'm expecting something to happen that's gonna show me bullishness in the market, but it's not just doing that, right? I don't have any kind of price expect. I'm saying like we can go up, then we can go down, but it's not price prediction. We don't hope for upside, we hope for downside here. God, imagine Bitcoin do a double bottom with a Corona dump. Oh man. Oh man. Let's see up here, energy price around the world. Chart, do they have chart? Energy prices less than 10.85. So in Russia, it's very, very cheap. America is 19.2. Up here is 27.55. I'm guessing there is a lot of cheap energy, different places around the world. But what's the Bitcoin price, mining price right now? Bitcoin mining price. It was around, 30, and right now it's below that. Across the 198, this was August 5th, so this is pretty new chart. Across the 198 countries, including in the data, the average cost of my Bitcoin set at 35,000. So we are below the mining cost of Bitcoin, more than Bitcoin's value of 20K by July 15th. So this, can we open this and see this big time? The cost of country mining 198 different countries. In Norway it costs Sweden 20K, Norway 20K, Netherlands 28K. So the low, where are the lows? Like in China up here. Let's see China up here. This is Taiwan 23, China 25, Mongolia is actually 11, Russia 16. So you can actually mine still profitably in Russia or Mongolia 11,000. Then there are other, how can you mine in Sudan for almost 5,000 Bitcoin? You don't want to mine in Wales, because in Wales it costs 52K to mine. Belize 45, 33, 40. I mean, but the average cost, what is said the average cost is? Takes estimated 1,449 kilowatt hours of energy to mine a single Bitcoin. That's the same amount of energy on average a US household consumes in approximately 13 years. So just mining one Bitcoin costs, you know, 13 years. US average consumes, you know, approximately. So my house, you know, in 30 years, you know, 13 years. But you know, there's a lot of houses. You know, there is more than 21 million houses around, guys. So only 21 million. How many houses in US? 140 million. Okay, so 140 million. You only 20 million of these for 13 years. That's the all power Bitcoin is gonna, you know, consume. That's all, you know. After 13 years, you know, we are consuming a lot more. I mean, you know, Bitcoin, you know, power consumption, although they, oh, it's so huge, it's not huge. Given the amount of energy you need to mine Bitcoin, costly venture to get into, but exact price fluctuate depending on location and cost of electricity in the area where there are cheapest and most expensive places to mine this popular commodity. This graphic now elementary provides a snapshot of estimated cost of Bitcoin mining around the world using price of relative cost from March 23. So this is March 23, and since March 23, the energy prices have skyrocketed in some parts of the world, like Norway. Over here we can actually lowest price is Kuwait. They got a very cheap electricity. You can mine it for almost 2k. Algeria, Sudan, 4.1, 4.7k. Then you got these Yemen, Ethiopia, Kyrgyzstan, Angola, Qatar, North Korea, Kazakhstan, 7-8k down here. Zambia, Azerbaijan, Brunei, Iran, Kosovo, Singapore, Mongolia, Bhutan. Actually, Singapore is up here. They got a very cheap electricity, guys. We gotta move to Singapore and mine there. So Singaporeans got a very cheap electricity. 10k, 10k for Bitcoin, 10k for Bitcoin. But you can see these, all of these places are not, you know, Western countries. Oman, Pakistan, Ukraine right now very cheap. Paraguay, Saudi Arabia. Cheap electricity. And up here we're coming to 18k, 18k. Iraq, Russia is down here at 16k, but it's still no European countries are anything like that. Egypt is up here, 19k. There we go. Norway. Norway is one of the first still cheapest countries. I don't know how we can have this cheap electricity, but I gotta tell you guys, it's not cheap. It's not cheap. Right now, it used to cost like 0. something Norwegian crowns, and right now it's like 4, 5, 6 crowns. Vad skedde?
Mamma kör inte ljus.
Mamma kör inte buss?
Nej, det är ljus.
Ja, ljus. Ja, okej.
Mamma kör inte.
Mamma sa lika? Okej, men gå och spara mamma. Pappa jobbar lite, okej? Jag kommer snart ner. Är det grejt? So here Sweden also 20k, but you can see that, you know, that's the right now we're coming to the cheapest, you know, European countries up here. United States 21k, so still around, you know, mining price. And then you got a very expensive on the other side. Cuba, Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, they got a very expensive electricity up here. Venezuela 246. Let's go to Venezuela and mine Bitcoin, guys. 246,000. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Cuba. Let's see up here. Slovenia up here. Wow, it's very expensive. Scotland 50k. Yeah, no way that you're gonna mine in Scotland. So for Western countries it starts around 20k. $18.6 is the new mega support level. Bull run will not happen till around December next year. How do you figure that out? Based on past history, 2023 will be mini bull bear. Yeah, but the problem is that past history is kind of changing right now. You know, we cannot expect it to just continue going the way it's been going for a long time. So for now, until we see something happens. What is the biggest play you think you did in crypto till now? I went 10x at the top. No, Papa Fadi. Okay, guys, the kids are bothering, so you know they want attention. So there is that. Let's go up here. Let's go see this 4 hourly. How is this 4 hourly playing out? Still down. 1 hourly did close below the moving. It's still above the 50 moving average. It's gonna be interesting to see how this 4 hourly closes, whether this is, you know, whether it can actually bounce from this, you know, towards the upside. You know, it still needs a little bit more time. I don't think it's just gonna dump right now towards downside or anything like that, but you know, guys, I'm bearish, unfortunately. Maybe that's a good inverse indicator for towards upside, but I haven't sold anything yet, and I'm a little bit unsure what's gonna happen, you know, if this continues to break the levels that I don't want to break. But you know, there's that. There's some kind of line up here. Maybe this is the line. Maybe this is the line up here that we are right now holding, just barely. It's somewhere around here. Yeah, this is the line more or less, give or take. It's still above the line, so you know, we were down a little bit, and I was kind of worried, but you know, we are expecting some kind of bounce. The bounce came. It's failing to get back up here, so there is that. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna go entertain the kids, do some other stuff. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope I didn't make you, you know, too bearish, because oftentimes when I'm very bearish, you know, stuff turns. Like you saw that I was euphoric a couple of days ago or a week ago. Right now, I'm, you know, extremely in fear. So there's that. Anyways, guys, enjoy your Sunday. You know, get your mind on other stuff. See you around. Join KuCoin. Bye bye.